let me tell you my first story of how I had the second time I ever had sex, right? This was about 6 months in, and I am going out there. And I am getting, I'm using different styles, using different openers. If I use any kind of terminology that you guys don't understand, just let me know. And about 6 months in, I'm with one of my buddies, a good-looking white guy, completely great at cocky funny, really, really funny guy. He's like a hip-hop professional. Every time he gets up there and dance, like women scream. It's kind of fun to wing with him, but at the same time, it's kind of super annoying because all the women just go to him automatically. So anyways, at the time I was living near the beach, and I drive up to Hollywood, park my car at his place, and we go up to a club in Hollywood. And, he goes off, he does his own thing. He's got his own game, and he's having fun. And I go off, I do my own thing. And I meet these two roommates, one short brunette and one tall blonde. I end up making out with the blonde. I'm like, awesome, this is great, right? It's the first time I was like having real success here. About 2 o'clock comes around, all right? And at this point, it's too late to introduce my buddy into the set, all right? It's 2 o'clock, it's cattle call, as they say, and it's time for everybody to leave the club. It's too late for me to introduce my buddy to the girls, to talk to them, to befriend them, to do anything like that. And so I was like, okay, what am I going to do? I didn't drive here. All right, we got to go back to this place. He doesn't know the girls. All right, and so the girls are walking behind me. Ryan, that's his name. Ryan comes up, he sees what's going on. It's like, dude, what's going on, man? I was like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Ryan, run. He's like, what? Ryan, run to your car. Just run. So he literally, he runs to his car. And the girls behind me, they come up and it's like, oh my God, JT, what happened? It's like, man, my buddy just left my ass. Could you drive me home? So we call it like the pickup arts, but there's no science. It's a lot of misadventures, a lot of fun, a lot of interesting things happen, a lot of improvising, a lot of creativity, a lot of mistakes, right? And let's talk about a little bit of pickup. Taking the mystery out of pickup, if you will. Pickup lines don't work. I know, like, I'm supposed to be like one of the world's greatest pickup artists in the world. In my bedroom, I would say I'm the greatest pickup artist in the world. But pickup lines don't work. One of the things we say, our mottos is, beginners think what to say to the girl. The average think how to say it to the girl. The experts think where to take her, where to physically take her, and where to emotionally take her. I know when I was getting into this, it's like, oh, I'm going to go online. I'm going to find out some pickup lines. Oh, what's going on here? What are some corny pickup lines?
How much does a polar bear weigh? Enough for
Yeah.
The girls know it. The guys are like, what?
What? Confidence is not learned. Confidence is earned. You earn it by trying. You earn it through field experience. You earn it through your successes, but you also earn it through your failures. All right. Life, you guys are still in college and you're probably studying when you're not drinking and partying. Life is not something where you can get straight A's at. All right. It's not something you get 100% or whatever. It's not. You don't have these easy metrics. You win some and you lose some. The testament of man's character is what he does after he fails. It's when you get knocked down, what do you do after you get knocked down?
You get back up.
Get back up. All right. Thank you for stating, Mr. Captain Avi.
Success.
Yeah. So, I like to use a sports analogy. All right. When it comes to failure, and I know a lot of Asians, we have this mentality where it's like we got to get straight A's, we got to do good. The entire Tiger Mom phenomenon, right? But in sports, let's talk about like the Super Bowl, football. All right, and like Irving Stadium, there's like 100,000 people watching the game. 50,000 people are screaming bloody murder. Another 50,000 are cheering their team on. But 100,000 people are screaming, all this noise. What's one point in time when the entire stadium is silent, where no one says a word? It's when a player gets hurt. It's when a player is unconscious and laying down. No one says anything. It's not, no one is like, oh, ha ha, he's hurt. No one does that. All right? Everyone is silent. What's the one point in time when 100,000 people cheer? Not catcalling, but cheer you on. What's the one point in time? When you stand back up. It's when you stand back up. All right? And that's what failure is to me. It's not simply, it's not you fell. It's what you do when you fall down. And that's something that in life that you guys are going to learn. All right? There's not always, an opportunity to win all the time or to always succeed. You will get knocked down. You will face obstacles that there is no, possibility of winning. It's what you do afterwards. So let me tell you, the worst night of my life. I was 6-9 months in, completely worst time. I felt completely ashamed. Went home, I cried, and there seemed to be no solution. I was living in Hermosa Beach, and I go with some of my neighbors and some of my friends. I'm like, yeah, I've been 6 months in, I'm going to show them what I know. And I'm like, yeah, right? So we go, they grab a table, and, the eating and the drinking. And so I go, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to talk to some girls. And so I see, off in the distance, near the bar, 4 Asian girls, okay? And I see one white, platinum blonde from the rear. I can't see her face, but, very, banging body, blonde, platinum hair. I'm thinking, okay, white girl, 4 Asian girls, she must like Asian guys. I'm just going to go with that assumption, right? Seems like a reasonable assumption. I'm just saying, she's hanging out with some Asian people. And so I go up, and I like, hi. And this is exactly what happens. She turns around. I want you to imagine, everybody know Tila Tequila? Yep. Looks like Tila Tequila, an Asian girl with platinum blonde hair, blue contacts. And this is exactly what she says to me. Go away! I don't talk to Asians. I'm like, what? Whoa. What the fuck? Yeah, it's completely one of those just self-hating Asians that just doesn't like Asian guys. I'm like, okay. And she's completely cold. It was the first real time I experienced that from a woman, that kind of racism. I was like, okay. Just gonna dust myself off, have a beer. I mean, my heart's pounding, sweating. This is just, it sucks, but okay. I'm not gonna let me, throw me off. I just whoosha. Okay. And so I go and I talk to some other women, and I end up talking to this very cute Latina, and things are going pretty well, and I'm holding her hand and everything like that. Oh, okay, you get that giddy feeling when you hold a pretty girl's hand, ooh, this is fun, right? And so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna introduce her to my friends and my neighbors, right? So I go to the table, like, hey guys, meet my new friend. And everybody's cool, and then there's this one guy. I think everybody knows this one guy in your group. That one douchebag, right? Complete doucher. He's the douche lord. And he's actually the boyfriend of one of my neighbors. Don't really know him, but he's, part of the circle. And he's a little bit drunk, and he's kind of one of those really broski, kind of aggressive dudes. And he does goes up to her, he's like, dude, what are you doing with him? Don't you know Asians have small dicks? I was like, what the fuck? And he just goes off on that, just bring up the stereotype of the small penis. I'm like, all right, my night's completely blown. I mean, twice in one night. One from a girl, one from a guy that was supposedly a friend. And I just went home and I cried. It was one of the worst nights of my life. And I went online. I'm like, what are you supposed to do when you encounter this kind of racism from girls, from guys? Like, no one really had an answer. And I think that's where one of the things about the dating or the seduction community fails at. It doesn't really address the question of race or racism. The answers I got off of like fast seduction and all those boards was, if you have game, racism doesn't matter. You just have enough game. You can go to a Ku Klux Klan rally if you have enough game and pick up, that girl in the white pointy hat. Like, please. And it was a white boy saying that too. No offense to the white boys, man.
Get better game, man.
But basically, the next day, I did go home, I cried, and the next day, I just went out again. Simply, another brick in the house, if you will. I didn't let it hold me back. I didn't let that girl hold me back. I didn't let that guy hold me back. All right. So I'm sure you guys want like some practical tips about pickup. You may like this. I guess the guy that wants to get laid like that, closing the deal. So any female volunteers? We're gonna take a woman's clothes off? No? All right, I'm kidding. All right. It's called like the LMR two-step. Or how I figured out how being Asian gets me laid. Okay. One thing yeah. So I was in Dallas. I had moved to Dallas, and I was winging this buddy of mine, tall, good-looking dude, and we ended up picking up 2 girls, and we're going to his place. And the first thought in my mind is, I want to get them comfortable. I want to get them physically comfortable. I want to get them emotionally comfortable. So he's walking in, I'm walking behind him, and the 2 girls are behind me. I'm like, hey, girls, take off your shoes. Like, why? Because I'm Asian. And they did. I'm like, oh, shit. If only that worked in other places, like, take off your clothes. Why? Because I'm Asian. Doesn't work, actually. But, huh?
How many times did you try?
Just a couple. But no, there's a kiss close tactic I use where I discuss, like, how us Asians look very, very young? I call it the Asian discount. I look 10 years younger than I actually am. And so there's this Asian fairy tale, right, of, how in Western mythology, if you kiss the frog, the toad, what happens?
Princess.
Yeah, it turns into a prince, right? the frog turns into a prince. But in Eastern mythology, Oriental mythology, what happens when you kiss an Asian man? You grow 10 years younger. Let's find out.